right, welcome to 1 Million Cups Chico. 1 Million Cups is a franchised event put on by the Kaufman Foundation in 160 plus cities around the United States. Every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., depending on time zones, entrepreneurs in the community gather to support, the community gathers to support emerging entrepreneurs. So the idea behind these community events is to provide support to entrepreneurs. It takes 1 million cups of coffee to bring an idea to fruition, and it takes the entire community to support our emerging entrepreneurs. So this is not an event that's put on by an individual organization. We have a lot of volunteers that put this on. It's free for the public, so we can't do that without our sponsors. So we'd love to thank Jen and Garden Villa Cafe for donating this amazing space to hold these meetings and the coffee. So make sure you tell your friends about the wonderful food here. It's kind of a hidden gem.
It's a big dog.
So our other sponsor is Chico Start, and Tim and I are over at Chico Start. If you want to talk to us, we help provide services for tech startups, portable office space, and mentoring and incubation programs. So let us know if you'd like to learn more about that. And then we also have Danny Schwartz Consulting, who is another one of our sponsors. The Chamber of Commerce, so Chico Chamber of Commerce. Let's see how they're here today. Hawaii. Hawaii! Woo!
Suffering in Hawaii.
So we're doing something different in the coming months. We are going to be collecting your feedback on workshop topics. So we'd like to pepper some of these our 1 Million Cups pitch presentations in with our business talks that we've been doing, and also workshops for entrepreneurs. So on our sign-up sheet that Lynn has, if you have ideas for a workshop you'd like to see at 1 Million Cups, please put that down or talk to Tim and I. What else? We have some new faces here. Aaron and Ken, I think you guys are new, right? No, okay, you've been for it. I gave that up. So anyways, and happy to see the new faces. Glad to see you guys keep coming back to this. It's really important. Please invite your friends, community members. There's a lot of interaction here that happens to support our entrepreneurs, mentors, investors, and community members. So today we're doing something a little bit different. We did not have an application come through until yesterday, and so we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants. But I would like to introduce somebody that has been a Chico Start member in the past, and he's worked on a number of different businesses in the direct mail space. And today he has an idea about an emerging opportunity in that market, how it relates to artificial intelligence. So he's going to tell us a little bit about his history of the things that he's worked on and kind of a new emerging market opportunity. He wants to get feedback from our community on, is this feasible, what do we think, those kind of things. So I'd like to introduce Pat Breuker. All right.
Take it away? Okay.
Take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Pat Breuker. I'm the founder of a company called CR Gold. CR Gold came into existence about 8 years ago, and I knew I wanted to stay in the printing and mailing business, which is something that I had done for about 10 or 15 years before that. And I came up with CR Gold as a good kind of umbrella corporation to run a number of businesses under. The basis behind CR Gold is that essentially we've discovered a way to essentially data mine the post office's database for consumer information, and that is a breakthrough type of technology that's available, and it's something that I've been really excited about for about 8 years. What my plan was is when I started CR Gold, I wanted to also start additional companies underneath there, like 123 Direct Mail, which is what I'm going to talk to you about now, and that's going to deal specifically with retail customers, small businesses, nonprofits, so on and so forth. But someone who needs direct mail services and just needs to walk through the basics of direct mail. So my background real quick, I moved out to Chico about 11 years ago from Cleveland, Ohio. My wife got an opportunity out here and we packed up the kids and headed across the country like the Beverly Hillbillies. And we landed out here in Chico and we love it. It's a fantastic geographic area. We love the mountains, and we're just it's been real interesting for me because I always viewed myself as a Clevelander and a guy from northeastern Ohio. But with the local devastation that's happened with the fires and everything, I've felt a real pull to I call Butte County my home, and I'm proud to call Butte County my home. So that's a little bit about me in a nutshell. And so what I'd like to do now is just tell you a little bit about 123 Direct Mail. All direct mail, a wise person, my mentor really, 20 years ago, shared a secret with me, and I'm going to share it with you here. All direct mail comes down to three key components. There's the list, there's the piece, and there's the money. So I'm going to break those out and talk just about 30 seconds about each one of them. If you think of every direct mail campaign as being composed of those three components, you've got the mailing list, you've got the piece, whatever we're printing and mailing, and then you got the money. How much is it going to cost? What's our return on the investment? The mailing list, people have figured out that data is gold for probably like the last 10 years. The value of your data, of your mailing list, has increased dramatically over the last 10 years. So, a little louder, I'm going to talk as loud as I can, okay? So, you've got the mailing list. That's the first key component. When you're talking about mailing lists, you're talking about three different types of mailing lists. You're talking about residential lists or a resident occupant list. That's where you're going to every mailbox in a certain geographic area. Or you're talking about consumer data. That's where you're going after everyone who makes over X amount of dollars per year and has 2 kids or something like that. Then there's a business list, and that's where you're going after companies or corporations, and you want to reach the director of marketing at a company that has in between 50 and 200 employees. Once you have the list in place and you know who you're mailing to, we now have the ability to clone your mailing list. We can find other people like your best customers or like your best prospects that you don't know about. And we do that by going out into that geographic area and looking for very similar people. Similar people who have the similar buying habits or who have the similar demographic qualifications that you're looking for. What's one of the big areas, and as it relates to artificial intelligence, one of the things that I believe is absolutely inevitable and is going to happen is an integration between the offline channel of direct mail and the online stuff that's going on today. There's going to be integrated, and what we're doing is we're building a platform that allows you to integrate all that stuff across one platform. So you're able to do direct mail. You're able to do, for example, SMS text campaigns. You're able to do Ringless voicemail campaigns. You're able to do targeted IP banner ads. You're able to do a whole bunch of stuff, and you're able to run it from one platform. The idea behind 123 Direct Mail is that we want one platform to run everything. We want to be able to run everything from one platform and be able to provide our customers with a start to finish solution for this. So I got a little off track, and I apologize. I'm gonna backtrack. 123 Direct Mail, the list, the piece, and the money. The piece is the next next thing. And when you're talking about the piece, everyone needs to understand what we're really talking about here it's a data file, or I'm sorry, it's a graphic file, right? And all we need is a high resolution PDF. We need a mailing list in CVS format or an Excel format, right? We need a high resolution PDF, and then all we need to do is talk about the money after that, okay? One of the things that I always ask people is how many times do you want your phone to ring from this direct mail campaign? Because if you can give me a number, you say, I want my phone to ring 10 times, I'm going to close half of those deals, and I'll be happy if I can do that. We can work the numbers backwards and we can do it however you want, okay? One of the challenges that I've had as an entrepreneur, and something that I need from the Butte County community, is that I need a sense of direction. I have felt like ever since I started that I became fragmented, and I wasn't able to focus on some of the really revolutionary aspects of what's going on in direct mail, because I've been pulled in different directions by customers' needs. Hey, we need a small biz printer. Hey, we need a list provider. Hey, we need a print broker. Hey, we need this. Hey, we need that. And I started. I tried doing it all. I tried doing it all, and it hasn't worked out so well. So that's what I need. I need feedback from the community about how to narrow and get back in focus about what I need to do. So,
Can you tell them about on the money aspect?
Sure.
About the area code targeting versus the
You mean the
sorting, the zip code?
The zip code, sorry. Yeah, that's okay. All right, so here's secret number 2 about direct mail. Aside from the list, the piece, and the money, that's secret number 1. Any mail house, when you give them a mailing list, the first thing they're going to do is dump your mailing list into what's called pre-sorting software. And what it does is it figures out what your postage is going to be based upon the concentrations of your mailing list, right? So if the first thing that the mailing house is going to do is dump it into pre-sort software, what we figured out a way to do is to shortcut that process, right? And we can target by zip code, we can target by the demographics, we can target by whatever your requirements are. Did I answer your?
Well, the carrier route, like it's cheaper to go with the carrier route versus the.
Absolutely. So something that most people don't know about zip codes is that every zip code is broken up into individual carrier routes. That's the route that your mail carrier walks each and every day. Some of you may be familiar with a product that the post office put out called EDDM, or Every Door Direct Mail. They take advantage of that type of mailing, and they say, hey, we're going to put a mail piece in every single mailbox on this mail carrier's route. What we're able to do is we're able to take a look at certain carrier routes and say, hey, did you know that carrier route 17 has a higher concentration of people that meet your criteria than carrier route 21? And wouldn't it be smarter to mail to this carrier route than to mail to that carrier route? That's the meat and potatoes behind CR Gold, is that there is a way to data mine the post office's master database for demographic information if you reformat it correctly. And the post office gives us the information every month. They give us updates. So many people move in this country every month, every year, that there's constant updates going on. So that's the meat and potatoes behind 123 Direct Mail. It's something that I'm excited about. I'm looking forward to. But I do need some help from because I'm a serial entrepreneur. You know, that's how I feel. I feel like I'm a serial entrepreneur that has a terrible GoDaddy addiction. Right?
Are we doing questions?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you said a super interesting piece earlier. That platform that you guys use,
Yeah.
is that your platform?
I know the guy.
Because my instant mind is, are you a print company or are you a technology company that hires to print?
That's a great question. And it's one that I've struggled to answer. Right?
Yeah.
The answer to your question is I know the guys who built the platform. So do I personally? No, I do not. Right? But I have access to it, and that's what's exciting about it. Right?
I just want, the reason I wonder is it just to me, as this industry keeps evolving, it makes sense to take that platform and push
it.
to people in your industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what we're seeing, because what some of those additional verticals in the platform allow it to do is they take what's a traditional response rate for direct mail, depending on a number of factors, but let's just call it 1%. Okay, if you get a 1% response from direct mail, you add these additional verticals and you complement the direct mail so that the person receives an SMS text saying, hey, make sure you check your mailbox today. There's a special coupon in there from us, right? And then they see a banner ad. what happens to the eventual response is that it goes through the roof. And you go from a 1%, businesses that are able to sustain themselves on a 0.5% or a 0.75% or a full percent response rate are now getting 5, 6, 7%, right? Because of the combination and the integration with the digital. Or 30. It's not uncommon. And it's exciting stuff.
So you talk about.
Hey, Andrew.
So you talk about focus.
Yeah.
What's your goal? Are you trying to build a company that can achieve an exit within a certain period of time, or build a lifestyle business that can provide for you and your family, or what direction are you looking to take? This business.
Yeah.
Never mind the products.
Right.
What are you trying to do?
I want to get out in 5 years. That's what I wanted to build a 5-year exit plan. I knew what my numbers were, and I knew how many pieces of mail I need to sell in order to get out in 5 years. So that was but by getting out, I mean licensing the technology, continuing on, and maintaining a role. But yeah, my personal role was that I wanted to get out in 5 years. So that being said, it means I got to sell a ton of mail, right? It means I got to sell a ton of mail, and either I do or my team does, right? And so that's my challenge. And there's a ton of mail out here. Have you guys ever wondered why when you mail a letter to somebody in Chico, why it comes back with a Sacramento thing on it? Do you know why? It goes to Sacramento. It goes all the way down to Sacramento only to get combined with all the rest of the mail that's coming up to Chico, and it comes back up here. Is that efficient? I would say no. Sir.
So the system, you said it could pretty much target certain people with certain incomes, things like that. Could it be more specific to where maybe targeting everybody who recently moved to Chico from Paradise?
Ooh,
Good question.
that's a great question.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, how long does it take? How fresh is the data is a good question, right? And how long does it take to catch up? So there's a couple of ways that you can go about it. My friend Mike says, yes, absolutely, you can do that. I say, yes, absolutely, you can do that. We might go about it a totally different way. But you can definitely do it. You could actually target the people from Paradise who are living in Chico with the card itself. With the card itself. You can mail it to everyone in Chico. But the card itself could say, attention Paradise residents, or something like that on there, so that everyone's getting it, because everyone knows that we got a ton of people from Paradise living in Chico right now. That would be an alternative to actually finding out for sure.
Or you could mine the move updates from Paradise.
There you go. There's those move updates that I told you about that the post office issues every month, right? Because people are moving. There you go. You concentrate on those. You find out who's filled out a change of address, and there you go. You've got a mailing list. Wendy.
So the main areas of work that you do, you've got the direct mail strategy.
Yep.
That's finding the list, defining the target,
Yep.
getting the addresses, all that. Working with the post office.
Yeah.
And you've got the other piece of business is the print and graphics.
Yep.
Okay. And then the third piece is this new technology platform that combines all marketing strategies.
That's correct.
Right.
An omni-channel type of platform.
So does that technology piece, you said that it exists already?
It does.
So what's the company, or are there many of them? Or?
No, there's the platform that I use is from a company down in Rockland called Marxus, and they're a large mail house down in the Sacramento area. They do about 2.5 to 3 million pieces of mail a week. That's a lot of mail. That's about 400 jobs a week.
So your specific skill set is in the direct mail piece.
Exactly.
So you would want to partner with the graphics print company.
Typically what I found is that most customers like to either handle or have their finger on the design of whatever they want, right?
It's a nightmare business.
Which is good, because guess what? I'm not a graphic designer. I don't pretend I'm terrible at it, right? Don't design or get it designed, right? Your piece. I want you to handle that aspect of it. I'll be happy to print it. I'm really good at mailing. That's the bottom line of who Pat Breuker is I'm a mail guy who's gotten good enough at printing to be dangerous, who's gotten good enough at mailing lists to be a resource, right? And who's gotten hooked up with enough people in the industry that I've got access to a really cool platform that will basically, it's like I call it the Death Star of mail. It's a planet killer. It can swing political campaigns. Think about the power of a platform that would not only allow you to upload individual direct mail campaigns, postcard and list, but then SMS text messaging and Ringless voicemail stuff. And a lot of the stuff that isn't popular, a lot of people are getting them. I get them, I don't like them, but they work. They work. And you could ask the people that use them if they work. So.
Good question. We both understand this, but I think it'd be interesting for other people to hear about variable data printing. So, I think the old technology of cut and stack, you have 100,000 of these pieces and you print the address on it and you take it to the post office, versus variable data printing, which is when the text or your name is actually printed on the piece, plus a picture or a name, or let's say if you're a t-shirt company, you put someone's last name on the front of the shirt that you're selling it. So variable data printing, and how that changes the return quality that you get from a postcard.
Right. A static piece, right? So we're talking about a static mail piece versus a variable mail piece. And basically, Mike's right. The old way is to print a bunch of postcards that are essentially shells, and then you would, as you're addressing, you could vary an offer based upon the record in the database, right? In the data. So Pat's offer says special 20% off, and then Wendy's offer says special 30% off, and so on and so forth, right? So that's using a static card. The variable print and the variable data imaging, which is fantastic, means that the images change and the offers change. Everything changes. And essentially, the way I explain it to people is that we've got a machine that takes a giant roll of paper, right? And then off the other end comes the finished mail piece that has Wendy's card with Wendy's offer and Wendy's car addressed to Wendy, and the very next card off the press is Pat's card that has Pat's offer and Pat's images and this, that, the other thing. So, and basically what happens is that your response rate goes through the roof because you've got personalized.
Yeah, you're using personalized data. So
personalized.
African American customer with a picture of a piece of jewelry with an African American.
There you go.
Piece of jewelry on there. That's going to be a huge difference in the mailing quality that you send to that piece, so you get a much higher response rate.
Yep, absolutely. It's very popular in the auto industry. Have you ever gotten a postcard with your car on it, with your make and model on it, the one that you drive? I have. I get a postcard and it's got my make and model on there, and what I know is that the very next card off the press has got somebody else's make and model on it, and it's got a totally different thing. And that's really so. And it all comes back to the data. The data is the key for all that. Well, that and a really expensive press, but you have to have one of those too.
So, clearly you have a lot of expertise in this space. Going back to focus, a lot of startups suffer from indigestion rather than inspiration.
Yeah.
We're trying to do too many things all at once.
Yep.
Like, what do you think you're best at? And what kind of skills and expertise do you think you have to bring on your team to build a company that would actually sell or acquire it?
Yeah. I'm not sure if I know the answer to that.
I can partially answer that.
Please, help chime in.
So your expertise is in the direct mail, getting the addresses and all that. But you're going to really be able to build a business around that technology platform, really, I mean, you need an overall marketing strategist to be focusing on all aspects of marketing for that business.
Right.
Direct mail is just a piece of it. But, I mean, is that true?
Yes, it is true, and I'm a firm believer that the best way to market my company and my services is with my services and my products, right? So I mean that's the self marketing that I'm going to go through, But you should be looking in your mailboxes for postcards from 123 Direct Mail and for banner ads and for Ringless voicemails and some stuff like that. Sir.
A couple of questions. What's your website? First of all, I wanted to kind of peek at it while we're chatting. And then what percentage of your revenue comes from that B2C versus B2B?
Okay, my website is 123directmail.com. Okay, that's one of the websites. I've got a bunch of websites. You could also go to cr-gold.com. The percentages of revenue are, in theory, I'd like it to be exactly split half-half, 50-50. But the reality is that it's not like that, because right now I have no revenue. I don't have any revenue to speak of, and that's been the case for a long time, right? What I've done is I've continued to sit on this idea, and it's the first thing I think of when I wake up in the morning. It's my obsession. I can't help but not think about this breakthrough that I have access to, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to go forward with it now. And I'll be honest with you, it's frustrating. But I'm also coming here and laying bare my soul. No, this is a person I don't like to say no to said that I was going to do this. And so here I am. Because I don't like to say no to the guy. And it wouldn't be a very smart idea to say no to him anyway. So, yes, absolutely.
Is there, I keep thinking of the continuous telemarketing.
Yeah.
Is still going on,
Yeah.
even to ourselves.
You bet. Yeah.
Is that included in the integration of the platform?
Yeah,
In what way?
Okay, so there's a bunch of different rules and regulations depending on what vertical you're using. Okay, the rules and regulations for SMS text marketing, right, are different, and those you need to run through the DNC, the do not call list, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on there. Same thing is with Ringless voicemail. Now that's an emerging technology that is highly unpopular. Yeah, it's highly unpopular, right? And what I would say is that we just haven't figured out how to do it right yet. We haven't figured out. If you're a nonprofit, think of the power of getting just before your annual asking donation drive happens. Think of the power of getting a ringless voicemail that all of a sudden you're sitting there looking at, and hey, my phone didn't ring. All of a sudden I've got a voicemail and you listen to it. It's the executive director of fill in the blank nonprofit saying, hey, I just want to let you know you're going to be getting a special something from us today in the mailbox. It adds to the power of the campaign. Now, Now, unfortunately, what's ending up happening is that the technology is being taken over by other industries that are not so concerned about consumer privacy and stuff like that. They're concerned more about what they're concerned about. And the ethical dilemma that I have to walk every day, and I'll just tell you guys this, is sometimes I have to deal with some real dirtbags. I mean, the direct mail industry. Think about what comes in the mailboxes. You got debt collection. You've got financial stuff. You got credit card stuff. You got people trying to mortgage mail. You got all kinds of stuff coming in there. And these are industries while they're stand-up industries, and there are some real bad actors in there. And so on one hand, I have to deal with people like that, and I try and offset by dealing with as many nonprofits as I can. I figure it's like my penance or something. But anyway, so I would just say we haven't quite figured out how to do it, but there are very real consumer privacy issues that as a nation we're gonna sort out, and when we do, we'll do it. But I do find it interesting that everyone's freaking out about Facebook selling their data when the reality is that I've been brokering in people's consumer data for 20 years, people. I can do this stuff. I can pull it. I can tell you how many whatever there are in whatever area. So it's out there. The fact is that now there's a whole bunch more of it out there. Wendy.
So this platform already exists.
Yes.
How is the business owner, who's using that platform? Is it marketing agencies or?
Right now, it's a smattering of marketing agencies, large printers, large advertising agencies, and large corporations that run multiple, that send out 200 mailings a day.
And service companies.
There you go. Service companies.
So you would use this as, it would be like you'd pay a service fee to get access to it? You would manage
No,
the
but that's it.
technology
That's an
yourself?
interesting, because I've thought about doing it as a subscription, right? And
Well, I mean, your business paying into the subscription of the platform. You don't want to own the platform
No.
and manage the technology
no,
yourself.
no, I do.
No.
No, I simply want to be able to use it. Let me start behind you first.
Okay, so I'm starting to ask the question. I'm going to answer, maybe I didn't hear it.
Okay.
Because I've been distracted by other things.
Yeah.
But, how much do you pay for access to it at the moment?
How much do I pay
Yeah.
for access to it at the moment? I pay with my soul. I don't pay $1. I have free access to it, but
But why?
because I have an agreement with the people who.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
In general, is that something they charge?
No.
Some Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah, no. It's not something that they charge for. They don't charge you to use the platform. They charge you to print their mail or to print, right? They charge you to fold and to insert and to address and to pre-sort and so
It's just a print company that has the platform. It's not like a
close. It's a mail house that also has some printing presses.
See how much we don't know.
And also has access to a kick-ass
Reason
platform.
for that.
Because here's why. There's lots of printers around that are very, very good at printing. They're very good at what they do, but they're not good at mailing. What they do is they give it to a guy like me and say, "Here, mail this stuff for us," right? Which we'll gladly do, right? Because we're really good at mailing. But what we did was we picked up a couple of those presses and said, "Hey, guess what? Now we've got printing presses, and now instead of having to go to a print shop to get your stuff printed, we could just do it right here." And the presses that we picked up are complex enough that what I tell people is that if it goes through the mail, chances are we can print it. So we're talking envelopes, we're talking inserts, we're talking postcards, we're talking brochures, we're talking big, full-size 9x12 stuff. I mean, if it goes through the mail, chances are we can print it. Or you can get it printed where you're currently getting it printed. That's fine.
So is your goal with your business, you said you want to be out in 5 years.
Yeah.
So is your goal to have a turnkey business that you can sell, like Andrew kind of was talking about, to get acquired? Or is your goal to just have the right people in the right place maintaining your business as is, and you just get to reap the benefits because that's the purpose of being a boss?
Can I do both?
I mean,
That's what I really
but I
want to
think
do
they're
both.
They're different.
I want to get
models.
out and
Yeah.
stay yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know yet. I really don't. And it's something, truthfully, until Andrew asked the question, I hadn't given any thought to, at least not recently, to the exit plan. But that is what it is. And like I said, I know what I have to. I know how many. If I'm selling postcards, I know how many postcards I have to sell. If I'm selling letter mail, I know how much letter mail I have to sell.
It's a great luxury in the print industry is that this industry is ripe with M&A, which is mergers and acquisitions.
Yep.
And so there's always mom and pops going on the business, mom and pops selling their customer base. And so if you want to buy business, you can always put $30,000 down and buy a whole company out virtually overnight if you want to. It's just a matter of
And it happens a lot. And it happens a lot. Happens daily.
especially with the fire. There's data just sitting there, lists of customer bases that people can pass on, and it's simply sending out a postcard email saying, you know, because of the fire, we've
moved, or we're here, we exist. You know?
There's a lot of that mailing going on, just telling, like, my dentist that was in Paradise, because I live in Paradise, moved to Chico, they've got a new office, and now they're sending a mailing out. There's lots of that, just information and stuff like that.
So what would be your ideal customer? Is it an individual? Is it a business? I mean,
No.
they would take advantage of the whole platform, and how would they find you?
My ideal customer would be somebody like a graphic design firm, right? A graphic design firm, somebody that has a bunch of clients in the area and that they currently are doing, you know, design projects for and stuff like that. And if I could get in with a good design firm, because then what they're going to do is they're going to upload multiple jobs, right? They've got client A, client B, client B. They're all doing different campaigns and stuff like that. So then they're uploading 3 jobs instead of 1. So that how would they get in touch with me? That's my responsibility, and that's why I'm standing here in front of you.
So you're looking at B2B.
Yes. I'm a B2C expert. But I personally have to deal with B2B, right? And I have to deal with companies that are all B2C experts. You know, so there's a kind of a strange dynamic. But
We have time for one more question.
one more question.
That this was, there should be a focus on marketing, how you approach this to go out.
All right.
And you were very hesitant, and you said, I would be the person who was doing the marketing through the material that you send out. But when you said you send out material, I think you're missing an area of the content in the material.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to point out, I think, because the work is not so different than what you're doing now in terms of you wanted to keep your direct mail.
Mm-hmm.
You want to add on the omnipresent,
Yep.
omni-channel
Yep.
The platform. So really it is in marketing and how you're marketing. You're no longer the 1, 2, 3 direct mail.
You're right.
You really want to become the CR gold.
You're right.
And so if your direct mail is continuing to go out and you're still relying on that image, it's that I would probably
Self-defeating.
not be so hesitant on bringing in marketing people to realign the branding that you have
Okay.
with where you want to go.
That's a great point, because it is self-defeating, right? It's self-defeating and from that standpoint. And thank you. That's awesome. All right. That's it. All right. Sorry.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for that unique session of Wondering About Chico. We hope to see you next week. Please bring a friend. And who do we have?
Next week we have Autolib that is rebranding. They're going to be doing a home, it's like an Angie's List in India.
Okay.
Home services, marketing to a larger, different style of
Awesome.
So they're doing Angie's List in Indiana.
pretty
So he's
much,
doing,
but
yeah, so he wants to test out the idea here with our group and get some feedback.
India, thank you.
India?
The country.
Okay. I got it. Okay.
So make sure we'll see you next Wednesday. And for our Mug Club winner of the day, I think that should go to Mark.
Right on.
Mike. Sorry, Mike. Never liked that
Thanks to our
guy.
sponsors, the Chamber, Gardenville Cafe, Chico Star, Danny Force Consulting, all of our organizers, all of you, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks, Wendy.
Sorry, Mike.
I get it all the time because it's Mike Harper, so
Right,
it's Mark
exactly.
Harper. I get it all the time.